What's up, everyone? Wanted to do a case study with you today and show you another deal that I was involved in, and hopefully you can learn something from it. So if you've seen my videos, you know that this business can be broken down into 5 different steps. So we have step 1, which is to find leads. Step 2 is to research leads. Step 3 is to contact leads. Step 4 is to close leads, and step 5 is to process claims and profit. So, I want to share with you a story. Let me pull this up real quick for you. All right. So we have this picture of this house right here. So this was a lead I had just found. The overage was over $20,000. And once I found this lead, I did my initial due diligence, started learning about the homeowner. I learned that the homeowner had passed away. And so obviously they quit making their payments, and it went to an auction, and it sold for more than what was owed. There was $20,000 left over. I found an obituary, and after finding the obituary, talking to some neighbors, I quickly learned that the homeowner that had passed away did not have a surviving spouse, and he did not have any biological children. So basically, he didn't have any heirs. But I was able to track down a brother in another state and reached out to him, contacted him, told him the situation. He was the only brother. Their parents were gone. And so he was the only living heir at this point in time. So I told the brother what the situation was, that I wanted to help recover these funds, and he agreed to review my paperwork. So I mailed him the paperwork. He reviewed it, then he signed it and sent it back to me. And he was ready to move forward. He signed at a 60-40 split. So he was going to get 60% of anything we recovered, and I was going to get 40% of everything recovered. And so I was really happy at this point because I had maybe, just a few hours into this deal, maybe 2, 3, 4 hours at the max. After doing my initial due diligence and contacting the brother and everything. And I was going to make $9,000 profit on this deal. Or so I thought. So what happened? Well, let's first, go over a couple key points. So we're talking more about step 2 of this business, which is researching leads. So in the researching leads phase, there's a lot of different moving parts that go on. Okay, and there's a couple different points I want to make. Point number 1 that I want to make is when you're doing your due diligence and your research, you want to make sure that you find the proper claimant, or the person that is legally entitled to the funds or to the overage money. Okay. Usually this is the previous homeowner that lost the property to the foreclosure sale. If the homeowner has passed away, then usually it's their heirs, whether it's their children, their spouse, siblings, parents, whatever it may be. If the property was owned by a company, then the person you need to find is whoever owns that company. Okay. So that's the first point I want to make, is when you're doing your research, find out who is the person legally entitled to the funds. And I've given you some examples of that. Okay. Point number 2 I want to make when you're doing your research, when you're in this step 2, is you need to skip trace. Or in other words, you need to find the claimant's info. You need to find their phone number, email address, current mailing address. You need to be able to get in touch with these people so that you can talk to them, tell them the situation, and offer them your services, right? So, and this is referred to as skip tracing. This is where you get to play detective. This is the fun part, okay? So what you need to do is get their phone number, email address, current mailing address, and it also helps if you can get the contact info for any relatives and any associates of the claimant. And there's a lot of different ways to do this, using the internet, using searches, social media. There's websites you can use, both paid and free websites that you can use to find this information, to gather the contact info. A good resource that I've mentioned before is truepeoplesearch.com. This is a free resource where you go, you type in the person's name that you're looking for and the city that they've lived in. Okay. And once you do that, you hit search and it gives you all of the phone numbers for that person, all the email addresses, names of neighbors, associates, relatives, all that good stuff, and it's for free. truepeoplesearch.com. Okay. And so then you're going to get all of this data, all this contact info, and then you're going to move on to the next step. But before that, point number 3, and the final point I want to make, when you're doing your research, when you're in step 2 of this process, find out the liens that were associated with the property before the sale. Okay, because one thing you need to know is any lien holders have priority to the funds or to the overage. They have precedence over the homeowner. Okay, so if there's a second mortgage, a judgment lien, any other type of lien that's on the property, those get paid first before the homeowner does. Okay, so that's important to remember, because why is this important? Well, if the total amount of liens, unpaid liens on the property is more than the overage amount, you may want to consider skipping this lead. Okay. Now, how do you find out about liens? This is all very easily done because this is all public record. You can easily go to your public recorder's office or register of deeds, and using the property address, you can search for any liens associated with that property, also mortgages, anything else, any debt that you may need to know about. You can find using the property address at your public recorder's office, using county records and public data searches. So it's easy to get all that info. Okay. So those are the 3 main points that constitute researching a lead, or step 2. So let's go back to this deal. Okay. This property that you see in front of you. Now, again, I was stoked on being able to potentially make $9,000 with just a few hours of work. However, I screwed up. I screwed up big time on this deal, and I'll tell you how I did that. Basically, I was lazy in my research, and I didn't catch some of the fine details. So here's the thing. When I found out that the homeowner had passed away, I immediately assumed that the money was going to go to his heirs. And so I rushed my research and spent most of my time looking for heirs, because I was like, okay, this individual has passed away. I need to find the person's heirs. And so I neglected some of the other research, namely the lien research and title research. And what had happened is this homeowner, the deceased homeowner, who I had contacted their brother, what I didn't know, because I was negligent and cocky and thought I knew it all, and I didn't do my research, what actually happened is the homeowner, prior to passing away, had given title to a stepdaughter of his. So he gave over ownership of his house to his stepdaughter. And this was all public record, it was all there. And I just didn't catch it. I failed to do my research properly. And so she submitted a claim. And she was the person legally entitled to the funds, because technically, even though the deceased individual, his name was on the foreclosure record because it was his loan, she was the homeowner because he deeded over the house to his stepdaughter. And so she was entitled to all of the funds, and my client, the deceased individual's brother, the only living heir, got nothing, and I got nothing. And so what happened? Well, the potential profit for me was $9,000. What ended up happening is I lost about $500 in filing fees and attorney fees, and that was it. So learn from my mistakes. Make sure you do your research, okay? Remember, it's better to follow a trail than to blaze your own. So learn from me. I've already blazed the trail for you. Follow the path. Don't go blazing your own and make mistakes like these. Don't make mistakes like the ones I have made. So you don't have to lose $500 like I lost $500. Okay. So hopefully that's beneficial for you. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. So I don't have a 100% success rate. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I do, because I don't. This is just the reality. You're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes. I've messed up. I've made mistakes, and I will continue to do so. It's part of the game. It's part of the process. It's how you learn, and that's how you get better. So, but I hope this was beneficial for you. If you want to learn more how to do these types of deals, and also how to avoid making these mistakes, check out my course, overagecourse.com. Again, you'll save. The price is going up on December 2nd, so if you purchase before then, you'll save $500. So again, that's overagecourse.com, and thanks, guys. Have a good one. We'll see you in the next one.